Hello, my friends. How are we today? So, I'm really excited about my video today, and I'm also a little bit nervous is a strong word, but I have a little resistance to posting what I wanted to share today, simply because it's quite a vulnerable post or it's quite a vulnerable expression, and it's something that's sort of affected me throughout my whole life, I suppose, on and off. So, today's video, as is said in the title, I'm sure, but at this stage I haven't written it. So. Okay, I've got notes so that I don't go stray today. Basically, why being cheated on is our greatest superpower. Now, I speak from experience, I speak from my heart, and in no way am I telling anyone how they should think, feel, behave, or do. This is my expression, my experience, and hopefully, with the right kind of frame of mind, we can be open to someone else's story without needing to criticize or point fingers, blame, shame, all of the above. Because I think being cheated on and cheating in general is surrounded by a lot of shame. We have this innate judgment in our society about what that really means, and kind of like throwing names and blames and rage rage against the machine. Not saying that that is in any way wrong, because I feel like it's quite an understandable reaction, but also that it's not really the reaction that serves us the highest for the highest good. It's not necessarily good to experience inside when we are continuing to hold on to that pain of being wronged or being cheated. So I feel like before I get into what I've learned, I'm just going to talk a little bit about this and how I feel it in this moment. So when we have something we're ashamed of, when we have something shrouded in shame that we're scared to kind of talk about or express, it festers inside of us. And I can't remember who said it. Please comment below if you do remember. But that the potential inside of us is the thing that destroys us when it's not manifested, when it's not given its full potential. And there's a song that also says, I wrote it all down on paper so that it could breathe, threatening the life it belonged to. I'm not sure that's the exact quotation either, but similar ballpark and not my words. So I think it's Anna and Bada, and the song is Breathe, the song, but I don't know about the first quote. Regardless, I'll get better at my footnotes maybe. There is something innate about needing to express. And this year is going to be all about expression. It's going to be about letting what is manifesting through me be an expression of authenticity, an expression of freedom, an expression of liberation, an expression in abundance of love, deliciousness. Why? Because it's my innateness and it's your innateness too. So my hopes is that this can inspire us to share a little of what's inside and maybe release the valve on some of the shame that we might be carrying around collectively, especially in the dating areas or just in general, that energy of feeling cheated by life, by someone, in money, in job, in career, in life, that feeling of being cheated on or being cheated out of something. It's a really common theme for a lot of us. So today, my intention is to dissolve some of this friction from that energy and kind of share some of the things that I've been reflecting on that are now becoming my greatest superpower because of the experience of having been cheated on or feeling cheated. So, number one, greatest superpower is that I am now unfuckable with. Again, going to Shoshana Raven, she says this all the time. Nothing can stop me now, right? When the greatest fear is manifested, there is nothing to fear anymore other than fear itself. So when we make it okay for these experiences to have happened and we realize that in some kind of way we chose this experience, if you resonate with that that vibrational story. I certainly do. And number two, it showed me that it's not the worst thing that could possibly happen. You know, there are far more painful things in life than being cheated or being cheated on. And it's possible to find real connection and real support through the process of this grief, of this loss, of this injustice in our hearts. When we realize a lot more about ourselves, and we can end up trusting ourselves a lot more, in my case, especially because I was right. I felt it coming and it came. And that's okay if we create our own reality. Some might say, okay, well, if we create our own reality, then why would I create this experience for myself? Because I've learned an enormous amount from it. And I intend to keep learning and refining the messages, the information that I have learned from this process to share with other people and to learn more about myself and what I want from life. So the third thing is it does not make me bad or wrong in any way. Just because someone doesn't see my unique value does not mean my value does not exist. I am valued by myself. And I valued myself enough to walk away. That was number 4. I trust myself to do it again if needed. Right? We build a trust with ourselves, even if we can't necessarily trust the other. I think it's Matthew Hussey, who does the relationship coaching. He popped up on my YouTube and he was talking about how we can never trust someone isn't going to cheat on us or leave us or hurt us in some way, but that we can trust ourselves to handle it. And we can trust ourselves to respect ourselves enough to walk away, to choose differently next time, to listen to red flags, perhaps, to be really honest with ourselves about things like compatibility, connection, empathy. Is this person really capable of deep empathy with me? Because if not, that doesn't seem like a connection to invest in. You feel me? So yeah, just remembering and noticing the signs. Number 5, I've experienced a vastly deeper kind of love as a consequence of this break open of my heart space. Essentially, it's a love that spans beyond the level of identity, right? It's like something that's so much deeper and more profound. It might not be that traditional romantic love, but it's when you're connecting with people and they're really feeling you, they're really seeing you and your experience, and they're inviting you in to hold that with them, right? Does that make sense? Because when we are sharing a story, we're exchanging energy, we're on this same wavelength. It's like, even if some people don't necessarily understand the wavelength, they might kind of bounce off and you'll be like, oh, okay, can't really talk to that person about it. But then you'll get to this level with someone and you'll just meet in the middle and you'll hold this space together. You'll hold that love together, right? And when you're in that space of holding that love, it just dissolves. The pain kind of dissolves. It takes time. I'm not saying it's like an instant fix, right? Find the right person, find a coach, find a friend, phone a family member, whatever it is. But it does take time, you know, and especially depending on the level of strength you have in your own ability, or the strength you have in your own identity and your heart, that this was a good thing that it happened, or this is happening for you, not to you, or I can make this my greatest experience yet. Like, and if that's too far of a reach, just I know that everything's going to be all right, even if it's not all right right now. Right? Finding thoughts that feel slightly better, finding people that make us feel like sunshine, that they feel like sunshine. And even if we're in pain, but we're in the sun, things are a lot better. So number 6, greatest superpower, creation. I've identified my core values on a much deeper level. Things like trust and honesty and authenticity. When we watch someone lie to the people around them or being deceptive in some way, we realize actually, hey, that's how they're going to treat me at some stage, right? If I step into the wrong side of them, onto the wrong side of their intention, then that's who I'm going to end up being to them. So keeping awareness of how people behave around the people around them. And I think that that also ties in nicely with another one that I've got later on that maybe I should have put next, but I'm not going to do it because it's going to confuse me because it's all written on a page. So, okay. And after the grief or after the pain is processed, I have like intensely increased my ability to enjoy life. There's like a deliciousness of experience that, yeah, I take my time with things, I nourish myself, I spend time with people that make me feel like sunshine, and do things that fill me up, that light me up 100%. And there is a lot of grief in that experience. There's a lot of grief in lots of experiences. We can have grief about just time passing in front of us, right? Or feeling time passing within us as we age or as people around us age. So grief is innate in everything, I feel, but it's allowing that process to be beautiful, allowing it to pass through us and not clinging to it, to make it part of our identity. And this is what I was talking about with core valuing and core values, because once we realize that our emotions are not our core values, they are not what we need to seek to look for in another person, because they don't necessarily have to be identified with us on that level, right? Our emotions don't have to be that closely identified with who we are as beings. It's a differentiation between I'm bad and wrong and I'm feeling bad and wrong, or I'm feeling like I've done something bad or wrong. Big difference, level of detachment there within how we're relating ourselves to the emotion and the story itself. So number 8, superpower. I'm choosing to focus with more clarity on what I truly desire. So this is something I feel like I've taken from Abraham Hicks, and sort of what I've been integrating from learning in those experiences is not making things personal and learning to not bypass, not dismiss, not get rid of the emotion or the situation or what happened, but just say, yeah, that's not really what I want to experience. So without pushing it away, how can I learn? How can I integrate? And how can I thus move forward from this space feeling more prepared if it is to happen again? Or to know that I'm going to be more conscious and aware of choosing partners who are less likely to do things like this in the future, or to be in situations that are less likely to be unbeneficial for me and my frequency, my energy, my innateness. I've researched the basics of cheating and sensuality, sexuality, mainly because of my brain. I've done this a lot of times, like this, the biological differences in ourselves when we go through a breakup or something is almost like a drug has been removed from our life, right? We get the brain is telling us all sorts of incredible things that, oh my God, we had this substance and now we don't have it anymore. So that's just, I suppose, if we're relating it to more a spiritual teaching or a spiritual essence, it's that idea of like seeking from the outside rather than nourishing from the inside, which of course is a definite dance and balance in our world, in the world that we're living in this moment. And there is a lot of shame around it in our world, as I was talking about at the beginning, which I feel when we push it down and don't talk about it, it only emphasizes the problem. I'm really inviting, if anyone watches this and they've also had an experience that they'd like to share, just comment down below. And if you see someone has written something really beautiful and really vulnerable, just send a little message, give them a little love. Like, let's amplify the love here, because sharing and expressing is the first step. I would really implore that we try and share from a place of empowerment to both ourselves and the other person, because regardless of what someone has done to us, it's not nice for us to spit hate, to spit blame and judgment at someone else. And I really believe that perpetuates the problem. But if that is the space you're in, write it all down on a piece of paper and burn it, just like let it out, scream it into a pillow, go for a run, go for a walk, talk it out with yourself. Just kind of like get that out there, and then come back to that energy, that story, when it's a little less raw, when it's a little less ragey. Because I did loads of letter writing burning. And there were times where, all you can do is run or walk or want to kind of punch things in the process. But once we've moved through that, I think we can get to a point where we're able to have good conversation and really fine tune what it is, that we're trying to destigmatize in this day and age. I think it's a story for another video or a topic for another video. So again, let me know if you're interested. That would be kind of fun for me to delve into. But I'm learning more about how I can invite my openness into a next relationship, into a next situation, into my work, into things that I love. Whereas I'm not as I'm not carrying this feeling of being cheated with me. I'm not carrying this feeling of like, oh, I've been cheated. Oh, that means something about me. No, it doesn't mean shit about me. It doesn't mean shit about me unless I make it mean shit. You know? I ain't gonna do that. I am not going to do that. So it doesn't really matter what anyone else says or thinks or does or believes, because as long as I'm strong in that belief, in that identity, that I am safe, that I am well, that people love me, I have loved ones around me. I haven't even met all the people that are going to love me in my life yet. That's nice. Those are the thoughts that I'm focusing on, not to detract from the reality of what happened, but to encourage myself to keep moving forward with an energy of love, with an energy of balance, whilst this is naturally dissolving. And the last point I wanted to touch on was the theme of jealousy. So, again, in our modern culture, we have a lot of stigma against cheating, against certain dynamics within relationships. And there's also quite a judgment against ourselves or of the other for jealousy or something along those lines. So there's this innateness of needing to hide our jealousy or needing to say, oh, I'm not a jealous person, or she's such a jealous person, or he's such a jealous person, I can't do anything. Usually, if we're with a jealous partner, there's an aspect of ourselves that is needing healing within that situation. Probably a part of us that is incredibly jealous, right? That we haven't been able to feel, we haven't allowed ourselves to feel because it's bad or wrong. Push it down, don't look at it, push it down, don't. Oh, it comes, no, don't want to see it. Whereas what we're doing in the world where we're opening ourselves up to self-improvement or self-awareness, I think self-awareness is better as a word, just thinking out loud, self-inquiry, right? We're inviting in the energy of jealousy so we can learn its medicine, so we can learn what it's trying to share with us. And I feel like I've also learned some things about that along my process in a more embodied way. Even if I've understood the logic before that, or I've understood the teaching, I haven't really fully embodied that essence. And I can tell you for real, this last relationship that I had was an incredible trigger for a lot of things. And it brought out things for me that I hadn't felt since I was about 16 years old. So there was a lot of deep rooted trauma that was surfaced from that experience. And I will forever be grateful for it. Truly. It was a divinely purposed expression for me. And I choose to see it that way. So here's what I've learned about jealousy. The energy of those around us deeply influence behavior. And we're remembering that we're not in relationship with just that one person, but every one of their friends and the people they surround themselves with too. So really like being more aware of the people around me and their social network, their choices in life, and how can I surround myself with people who perhaps have more of my best intentions at heart. If they feel I'm behaving in a certain way, their first reaction is not slander or blame, but just open curiosity, or even, sure, she's got a lot going on, or I'm sure this is happening, that doesn't sound like Can, that kind of energy, surround ourselves with people who are going to see the best in us and mention our names and names of opportunity, rooms of opportunity. So jealousy can actually feel good as well. This was another thing. It's not like the addicted to feeling good, like needing to get a dopamine rush, but actually like, wow, thanks for that guidance. Like, thanks for showing me that that was there, because now I know more of what I want. Like, I want to feel safe in this way. I want to be reassured in that way. I want to spend time with people who are like this, who are open, who are honest, who are radically truthful, even if it puts them at a disadvantage in the relationship, because that's what I offer, that's what I'm bringing. So why am I not choosing that to be reciprocated? Do I not feel that I'm worthy of that reciprocation? Am I shaming myself when they aren't able to do so? Because actually, that's not shaming is never the answer, although it's very common in our society. People in alignment with me create peace in my heart when I'm together or when we're apart. So if I'm feeling that anxiousness and I'm feeling overwhelmed or burdened, this is me personally. I'm not saying this is the case for everyone, but I certainly notice that I'm very peaceful when I'm not around them and when I'm with them. There's not a fear of walking on eggshells or like having to check on them or them checking on me, or there's none of that. It's like, no, it's just peace. It's trust and it's real love because it, again, goes beyond the level of identity. So we all get to have what we want. And when we're brave enough to step away with love, we can hold multiple truths at once. We can hold the fact that we're hurt. We can hold the fact that we don't want that to happen again. We can hold the fear of it happening again. We can hold all of these things. And we can actually say, but I know I deserve more than this. And having the self-worth, the self-confidence to move away from a space and moving into something that is innately feeling better for us, that takes a lot of confidence. That takes a lot of balls, lady balls, lady gumptions. And I feel like it really moves us into the next level of what we're asking for in life. It invites in more. If we're able to sit and process through what's happened, if we're able to release it through our art, through expression, therapy, coaching, friendships, exercise, whatever, getting that expression out there and like really realizing the love we already have in our life. Like I've written my last point, or one of the last points is, man, I have amazing, wise, and delicious friends. Like the people that I got to chat with and rely on and share with in this period of time, they have just found such depth within themselves and shared that with me. And that was such an incredible experience. Again, going back to those core values, connection, real connection looks like sharing all of those parts of ourselves, the parts that are joyful, the parts that we celebrate, the parts that are painful, the parts that we actually are a little bit ashamed of sometimes. Like, yeah, it evoked a lot of shame in me to have been cheated on. There was a lot of thoughts of, well, what's wrong with me? You know, how have I done this to myself? That was another thing. How could I not see this coming? I knew it was going to happen. Why did I, you know, that kind of like, like, no, man. It's just an experience. It's a painful one sometimes, but we can do hard things. We can move through things and it gets to be easy. It doesn't have to be a painful release. We just need to surround ourselves with people who see it as a superpower and choose to see it as a superpower ourselves. So the last thing I would like to mention is I will never be afraid to admit being jealous. It does not make me bad or wrong. It's only when we suppress it, disown it, reject it, deny it, that it comes out to control and manipulate others and ourselves, and it ends up really hurting. We do a lot more damage by not being able to admit to it to ourselves and redefine what it means. Like if we have the experience of jealousy, we can transmute that into, okay, well, what have I learned about myself that I want from that person, from this experience? What do I now know I need and want in life? And how can I go about taking steps in order to get there? Do you feel me? I'm sure you do. So, well, that was quite wonderful, actually. I had that kind of bubble through me this morning when I was watching the sunrise, and it was a really beautiful sunrise. And I was thinking, it's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. It's a bit below my range, actually. We'll work on that. Work on the singing camera. But again, so comment below if you have an experience that you'd like to share. If you have any ideas for yourself about what you've learned, what you'd like to move forward from this point with, let us know. Let me know. And thank you for being here. Thank you for hearing. Thank you for listening with your full body. Maybe I will do a video tomorrow on full body hearing, full body listening, because that's something I'm really keen on expressing more of. And I released this with only love in my heart. I wish to move forward from this point forward, not taking any resentment, any blame, any shame, any guilt, any detachment, disassociation from what has happened in my past, taking a step forward every day with pure love, acceptance, and the knowing that, as Heather Hoffman from Activation Vibration would say, everything is working out best case scenario. And so it is. Toodle Pipple, love you so much. Ooh, all unfolds in the perfect way. And so it is. Have a blessed, brilliant, and beautiful day. I'm gonna go outside in the sunshine. Love you. Bye.